I remember the scene in the very beginning where you put your first wife's husband in the dungeon. Thinking.
First wife's lover.
Lover. Okay, that's right, because you.
I said, boy, you're gonna pay.
My guest today is an award-winning soap opera icon. He has been on The Young and the Restless for more than 4 decades. He's also an author and cancer survivor, and I am honored to call him friend. Please welcome this gentleman, Eric Braeden. Eric, welcome.
Pat, thank you very much. And we've been here before doing the news, and I've always admired you. My wife loves to watch you.
Oh.
And yeah, you're a mainstay of the news in Los Angeles. Really.
Well, thank you, Eric.
Really are.
But you know, we go back a long way. You know how I first was introduced to you, not in person, but watching you on Young and the Restless, actually for my job. But you've had an incredible career in daytime television, of course, through the years with your role as Victor Newman on WWII. Yeah. But I want people to really know about you. I want to start from the beginning. You had a very incredible childhood, born and raised in Germany during and post World War II.
Right.
Tell us a bit about that.
Born in 1941, and amidst the bombs of the Second World War, they targeted my town that I was born in, called Kiel, K-I-E-L, on the Baltic Sea, particularly because they built submarines there and warships there. So the bombing was incessant, you know. And first every night, and then every day and night. Now, I was obviously an infant in 1941, but I do remember to the day the announcement would come over the radio. We only had radio, obviously, no television, you know. And that's when they announced the bombers coming from Hamburg. They firebombed Hamburg, and then they flew a few miles to the east, and then hit the crap out of Kiel.
So you knew when they were coming. What did your family do? Did you have a...
My father was mayor of the town I was born in, grew up in. And so there are certain visceral memories of you know, anti-aircraft. First you hear the boo, and then the anti-aircraft. And then the stuff hits the fan, okay? So we then moved to the country, and although that wasn't much better, they would bomb anything that had lights in it, anything that glowed in the dark, boom, 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 boom.
So did that mean you spent a lot of time without light on purpose?
Oh yeah.
Just so they wouldn't know?
You had to turn it off. As soon as they announced the bomb was coming, all lights went out. So fortunately I was an infant, so obviously I was cared for, you know. And I remember the dank smell of the cellar where we had to go to. And anyway, many stories. We survived it all. I remember the Brits came and arrested my father. He was mayor of the town, so they put him into a camp for denazification.
Denazification?
Yeah, denazification. And he came out a year later because he had treated people well while he was mayor. He never gave a damn whether someone belonged to the party or not. I found out all that much, much later.
Did that shape who you became?
Yeah.
Because
largely.
That sounds so much like you, Eric, and the principles that you have.
I must say largely that. You know, you learn how to fight. You grew up in a village, do sports as much as you can.
I know you became a boxer. We're going to get to that.
For a while. So it's...
It came natural.
It was a healthy upbringing and a tough upbringing, you know? Didn't know any different.
Almost not only shaping you for the man you have become, but almost your character on YNR. Victor's tough.
Yeah, in many ways.
But at the same time, he also is very caring.
Victor doesn't take any, you know.
No, he definitely does not.
We can't say that on television, can we? No. He doesn't take any.
No, he does not.
You and I both know what that means.
Yeah, we do.
So...
well, tell us when you came to the U.S. when you were 18.
Right.
And you didn't come to Los Angeles, right?
No.
Okay.
I'd won the German Youth Championship in track and field, in discus, javelin, and shot put when I was 17,
Oh,
and with my team. And then I had a cousin who lived in America. She taught at the Medical University of Texas in Galveston. And she came over to visit. And she said, why don't you come to America? I said, yeah, interesting. Adventure, you know.
yes.
Because after the war, we read all the stories about America, about the American West.
How was that for you? That had to be such a cultural shock,
It
really.
was a shock, but let me tell you about the voyage. About second, third day in, I just turned 18, you know, and always an eye for the ladies, and there was a lady sitting at the bar. But she must have been about 25, 26, and I thought, how do I look older? So I bought my first pack of cigarettes. Stupid idiot. Because I wanted to be Humphrey Bogart, you know, and charm the lady. Well, it
You were
worked.
trying to be a ladies' man at 18.
Well, it worked.
I would say so,
It
yeah.
worked. But it started me to smoke. I did until I was 42.
Well, that's a long time.
Yeah,
So you smoked while you were on the series.
yeah.
Okay.
At the beginning, first 2 years. Then I stopped. But the Rat Patrol, Gunsmoke, which I did in the studio, Maritime Amour, during that time I smoked, yeah. And played competitive soccer. It's insane.
Well, I don't understand. It's interesting when I hear people who say they smoked, but they were such good athletes.
Yeah.
I know I couldn't do that because I couldn't take the breath. That would not last for me. So you must have good heart and lungs, that's for sure.
Survived it.
You did?
Yeah.
But you
So-
left New York City and went to Montana and then
So,
Texas?
I arrived in New York City, and I bought a Greyhound bus ticket to go from New York to Galveston, Texas,
Okay.
where my cousin taught at the Medical University of Texas. 3 days, 4 days, 3 days through the South in 1959.
Ah.
So the
you
division
saw a
of
lot
races was
things. Yes.
obvious. And I remember a lady sat next to me in the bus on one of the trips from city to city and said, excuse me, you're from Germany? I said, yes. How is it possible that a nation that produced Goethe and Schiller and Beethoven could produce Hitler? I was 18, I had no clue how to answer that question. I said, I'm sorry, but I can't answer that question. I learned all that later. In the 50s, we did not discuss the Holocaust at all, not once. That came about in the 60s, then with a vengeance in Germany, but I was gone. So then I went from New York to Galveston, as I said, through all the southern cities. And the Greyhound bus usually goes through not the nicest sections of town.
Right?
You know, I said, wow, this is America, wow, man. Colors only, whites only, I said, wow. So then I came to Galveston, and my cousin is German. She was married to a Dutch husband. They're both hardworking people. And I had a job the next morning.
Doing what, Victor? Called you Victor again.
Perfectly fine. As long as the check is good.
Oh, of
I'm
course.
okay. So my first job in America, they had a colleague who was a pathologist who studied arthritis on knee joints of cadavers. So my first job was in the cadaver hall at, I think, John Seeley Hospital, I think, in Galveston, Texas. And I had to open knee joints so he could study.
How'd you do that?
You get a knife and cut it open. And
But they were cadavers, so
18 years old,
they didn't feel anything.
and no air conditioning, but huge, you know, those giant
Fans? Yeah.
right? And a penetrating smell of formaldehyde.
Oh,
That
Eric.
was my first job in America.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long did you do that?
About a month.
About a month. Okay.
Then they mercifully moved to Dallas, Texas. They opened a private practice She in radiology, he in ENT. Anyway, there I went to the Marine Corps recruiting station because I had read about the Marines, and I was obviously an athlete in good shape, and I thought, And that meant I could have become a citizen earlier and earn some money. So I walk in the recruiting station, Dallas, Texas, and I'd learned Shakespeare in English. You know, I knew nothing about American vernacular, nothing. I knew nothing about inches and feet and yards, nothing.
But you learned Shakespeare.
And I knew some Shakespeare. So I looked at the test, didn't understand multiple choice. In Germany, you answer every test question with an essay. You know, you're not given multiple choice. So I looked at it and said, my God almighty. And then they asked questions in math. Not my favorite subject anyway, but I thought, I just said, I can't do it. I went back, said, I'm sorry. He said, come back in half a year. So anyway, then through my cousin, we found out about a German rancher in Montana, outside of Missoula, in a place called Florence, Montana. And he had a ranch. He had come to America in 1900, and I asked if they needed someone to be a cowboy, and I come from an area in Germany where he came from. He says, yep, come up. Another Greyhound bus from Dallas through beautiful areas in America, ruined by Lucky Strike signs, camel signs, Coca-Cola signs, the most pristine countryside.
Yeah, capitalism.
And Lady Bird Johnson changed that. There was a Beautification of America Act. She saw to it that all those signs were taken down.
Oh, Lady Bird.
Yes.
And what would she think now?
Yeah.
Right? But how wonderful for Montana, at least.
Yes.
I think it's still very pristine.
Oh,
Is that
now
when you
it's
learned to
beautiful.
ride or ride
No,
horses?
I grew up in farm country in Germany, so I knew all that stuff. I learned how to drive when I was 10 years old and all that. I knew all that stuff. So
Man before his time.
first arrived at night, they introduced me to the family. Next morning we were assigned a horse and saddled, and rode out. And first thing was to fix fences with a hammer and nails in here and fix fences. And then later on we drove cattle from the mountains down to lower meadows. And so I thought, my childhood dream, becoming a cowboy, you know, and that dream went right out the rear end, because when you sit in the damn saddle for I don't know how many hours, you say, this ain't as romantic as I thought it was.
Yeah, you get quite sore.
Oh my God. So anyway.
But what a life, even so far. And we're not even at 21, are we?
No, 19.
Okay.
And then one of the other cowboys said, you know, with your sports athletics, you could get a scholarship at University of Montana, Missoula. And I applied, I got the scholarship. But I had no money. So they paid tuition, but how was I going to make a living and survive?
I was going to say spending money, you didn't have that.
So then someone suggested you can make good money at a lumber mill outside of Missoula in Bonner on the green chain. That means they bring in the 18-wheelers with all the huge beams and they cut them in the sawmill, and then all the boards come spewing out on a green chain. 10 guys on this side, 10 guys on this side, and you're assigned a certain size board from 11 to 2 in the morning.
Oh my goodness. This is such hard work that you've done. So, you know, I want to pivot. People that are listening are saying, how in the world did he come from doing all of that labor with his hands to becoming one of the world's most renowned soap opera actors?
Good question, long answer.
Well, that's a lot in between there.
I started again in Montana, and I had a girlfriend called Dorothy McBride, who had a girlfriend called Susie Cook, who had a boyfriend called Bob McKinnon. And Bob McKinnon was a senior, rough guy, one of the Hemingway types, very bright but adventurer. And he asked me if I wanted to go up and down the Salmon River in Idaho, the river of no return. It's called the river of no return for a reason. No one had ever returned.
Oh, my.
We were the first ones to go up and down and survived it.
Did you work? I mean, were you fishing or what was the...
No, you just conquer the river. You go against the rapids.
Conquer.
One rapid after the other. So I almost drowned 3 times, survived it. We made a documentary film of that. And with that, I came to LA.
Okay. But who would think, who could come to Los Angeles with those kinds of stories and those kinds of experiences? So you came to LA after you did the documentary?
After we did the documentary.
All right. And from there?
And then we were in LA, and J. Walter Thompson was the PR firm that represented Alcoa Aluminum and Johnson Outboard Motors. And they saw the film. We were on talk shows in LA at the time. Bill Burritt, Aquaventure.
Oh, Aquaventure.
Governor Knight had a talk show, and they showed the film at Warner Brothers. And the casting director said, "Have you acted before?" I said, "Nope." "Are you interested?" I said, "Nope." And so that's how I came to LA. And that's how that whole affinity for acting, you know, became clear to me after a while.
Well, you were in some pretty good movies.
Yeah, very soon.
Yes.
Moritori.
Take me
I
through.
think of Catalina. Moritori with Marlon Brando and Yul Brynner, we did in 1964 or 5.
Wow.
We filmed on a Chinese boat off Catalina Island.
That
was a whole story in itself.
I bet.
Yeah.
Just naming the 2 people that you worked with, of course. But you did Rat Patrol.
Yeah, afterwards. Right? 1966, 68. In 65, I did Broadway with Geraldine Page and a famous German actor called Jürgens, and Clarence Williams III.
Oh, you worked with him too?
Played my half-brother
Wow.
in a play
On Broadway.
49th and Broadway, Eugene O'Neill Theater. Yeah.
So you had this acting within you,
Yeah.
but this brought it out because you really didn't know that because you were doing all these other
What brought it out
different
was
jobs.
I opened the Santa Monica Playhouse on 4th and Wilshire with 2 actors that I'd done guest star roles with. And my first play, I played a drunk writer in a Tennessee Williams play called The Lady of Larkspur Lotion. Here's a 21, 22-year-old boy from Germany playing a drunk writer in a Tennessee Williams one-act play. But it worked out. And I licked blood. I loved it. And another play followed by Jean-Paul Sartre called Keane, which I played the Prince of Wales. And yeah.
But what, most people, well, I should say most people, the people that I know that know who you are, they ask, well, you act with such royalty. You could be Prince of Wales. I mean, really. So, right. But the character, Victor, can you tell me, how did you get involved how did Victor become? Did you go in and read for this role, or
No,
I'm sure
no.
they approached you,
No.
didn't they?
Well, what happened was, it's very interesting. Remember Dabney Coleman?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Dabney and I used to play tennis a lot. He was one of the best celebrity tennis players. I played a lot. So, finished playing, he said, "What are you doing now?" I said, "Well, agency asked if I would want to see someone at CBS about his soap." So I asked him, I said, "What the hell is a soap?" He said very cryptically, "Do it, you love it." Upon his recommendation did I actually go. I didn't want to go. I said, "What's a soap?" I had no idea what a soap was. I barely watched television and certainly did not watch daytime television. So that's the first meeting with Bill Bell at CBS. In fact, Bill wasn't there. Bill saw it on tape. It was
They were out
Ed
of
Scott,
Chicago, right?
my friend Ed Scott. Huh?
They were out of Chicago,
Yes.
right? The Bell, yeah.
Precisely. So I did it. I was most reluctant. I thought, what is a soap, man? And then I said, okay, 3 months. Signed for 3 months, that's it. And hated it the first year.
You did?
Hated it with a passion.
God, we loved it.
Couldn't stand it. I tell you why.
Why? Yes.
Well, you know, I've done films, I've done every nighttime television show, I've done theater. Daytime is so compressed. It is so inordinately compressed that most actors who come from nighttime say, whoa, 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 wait a minute. This is too much.
I think I told you that when I first met you, and you invited me to come and watch a scene.
Right.
And I had so much respect because I think people look at daytime TV and think, oh, okay, that's not so hard. You're right, I know.
Nighttime is a joke.
Yeah. How many shows
Films
did
are
you
a
do a
joke
day?
compared with what we do.
Yeah, I witnessed that myself. So I know, you're absolutely right about that.
I mean, I have done, the most I've ever done was 62 pages in one day. I myself did. Now we do, many of us do 10, 15, 20, 25 pages a day.
Yeah.
Day in, day out. So you either get used to that. I tell you what changed my mind about it. I went to Bill. I said, Bill, I'm empty playing bad guys. I've done that throughout my career. You know, nighttime shows, Gunsmoke, Hawaii Five-0, Mission Impossible, always bad guys. I'd had it. I was empty.
Oh.
And he came up with the storyline. He's a brilliant man. Unfortunately, he passed away. And once I did that scene with Nikki, she never knew what my background was. I was this mysterious, wealthy guy. And one night before Christmas Eve, she asked me, and I say, well, I tell her the story of my upbringing. And I've been left at an orphanage at the age of 7.
Right.
Once I did that scene, I said, yes, I'm staying.
Well, and how long ago, just tell us how long you've been with the show.
Yeah.
How long?
46 years.
46 years.
Yeah.
So 46 years ago, he was only supposed to be in that role for 3 months.
Yeah.
You hated it after a year, and just that one scene alone.
That's right.
How do you make Victor so likable? Because people ask me, oh, is that gentleman that he plays a villain? I said, but yeah, what a great villain he is. You're the villain that everybody wants to love. How do you do that? Because I know they don't just write that for you.
No, he tapped into something. Bill Bell somehow found out about actors. He really knew more than you realized. And with that storyline, he dug into the whole war thing, you know, seeing a lot of loss around me, people dying and blah, 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 blah. And I lost my father when I was 12. And I will never forget it. So the idea of having been left at an orphanage at the age of 7, whoa. And I knew children in Germany who were sent to an orphanage and were orphans. So it was easy to tap into, you know, and I knew, once I played that, I said, yes, that's it, because it opens a Pandora's box of emotional possibilities, you know? I mean, really.
Well, we've seen you go from highs to lows, but again, when you play, should I say the good Victor, it's just, you know, you just bring people, that's why they love you and they want to keep seeing you day after day, no matter what you've done. I think we joke because I remember the scene in the very beginning where you put your first wife's husband in the dungeon. Thinking.
First wife's lover.
Lover, okay, that's right, because you were.
I said, boy, you're going to pay. So, unbeknownst to anyone, I had a dungeon underneath my living room.
That was wild. That was wild for then, right?
Truly.
Now, is that the most memorable scene that you've ever done? The first one?
I would say one of the most memorable.
Okay.
Yeah. So then, and I had a monitor up in the living room. I would check on myself and how he was doing down there. And then I would feed him baked rats.
It was, for the time, it was unbelievable. But you did it with such a plume, and you looked just, you know, so handsome while doing it. So how could you not fall in love with Victor?
Absolutely hilarious.
How much of yourself, Eric, is in Victor when you perform? You mentioned, you know, when you were born, you could relate to children being orphaned. So that obviously helped your character. But are there other things that just come from you? just from Eric Braeden? We know you're tough.
Almost all of it, in many ways, because I think actors have empathy. That means we look at the world around us and we see a lot of suffering going on, you know? And so, and actors have an imagination, and they always say, my God, what would I do in that position? You have empathy. That goes to seeing homeless people on the streets, you know? And
Well, you see more than most.
yeah.
No question.
So it's, and yet you come back from that. My life taught me basic decency to human beings, whatever their background, whatever their station in life. Doesn't make any difference. And that's what I can't stand about these billionaires right now, these newfangled billionaires who couldn't care less. Bezos doesn't pay his workers a decent amount of money. You kidding me or what? Man has millions, billions.
Well,
These people need to be slapped around a little bit. You know, come with me on the street, let's go.
Uh-oh, you hear that?
I mean, it's just,
I do have a piece of sound that I'm going to play for people to hear. It's one of the most compassionate speeches I've heard you make. But I want to get this crossover event. I want you to talk about that a little bit. That's happening this month. Is that with Beyond the Gates?
Oh, yeah.
And that's a contemporary show. I mean, that's only been on the air a year or so.
Yes.
So here, Eric Braeden, Victor.
Yes.
So tell me about that real quick.
Well, they asked me to if I would guest star, and a very nice lady, Danielle Unger at CBS, had suggested it, I think, and they liked the idea. So I flew to Atlanta and met some very nice people. Very nice people. It's an all-black show, and it was a very nice experience. Really was.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
With actors who knew Clarence Williams III and who had been from the theater in New York, and you know, very nice. They have nice-looking studios there in Atlanta. I was stunned.
That's where a lot of production. We wanted to come back here,
but
though,
the studios
Yeah.
were more modern than what we've been working at for 46 years. I'm serious.
No, I believe you.
Yeah,
I
wow.
believe you.
Great cameras, and I mean, wow. And it was a very nice experience. I enjoyed it.
But I love how you're excited about that when you talk about the cameras. And, you know, one thing about you, Eric, is you seem to enjoy the work, because you could have stopped at any time, right? Mm-hmm. At one point in your career did you feel, well, I've made it?
Never.
Never. So that's what keeps you going.
Never.
Wow. Why is that, though?
Never. Not one single time do I say, yep, I've made it. No, never. Never have felt that. Why? Because I've worked with too many people in the 60s, nighttime stars. Where are they now? Where are they?
I hear what you're saying.
They hadn't worked in years.
Okay.
Some then tried to get on YNR, and it was too late. You know, it's where are many of the old stars? Then every so often when you do publicity thing or appearance somewhere and you find out that someone is doing it for so and so much money, you say, whoa, they were big stars.
Yeah.
And they have to do it in order to survive. And this business can really do damage to you.
Oh, yes.
Really do damage. And you, Pat, are one of the few that has stayed on. That's why people love you.
Well, Victor, thank you. And I probably
Yeah.
feel like you.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if I'd ever say that, even just say 37 years here and
Yeah.
10 outside of that,
Right.
oh, yeah, I've made it.
No.
It's that drive to want to continue because you can. And I
Right.
like the work, and I like talking to people and giving people information.
Right.
Having this conversation with you.
Right. I mean, the thing is that when you, and I don't know why that is, that's a peculiar joy. To take some stuff that was written by someone in New York or Chicago, a person I've never met, and you try to make it real now, make it your own.
Yeah, you bring them to life.
What we do as actors is try to make something real. And so that has never bored me. When I do a scene with Melody Thomas Scott or Joshua Morrow or Emilia Heinle or whoever they all are, Peter Bergman, and if the scene works, I immediately get a good feeling. I say, yes.
That's great. That's what
It
keeps
worked.
that's what keeps you going.
I leave the set, say, yes, it worked. If it didn't work, I chew on it for a while.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
But you go back the next day.
You go back the next day, you have to. In this business, it is so, daytime is so ruthless. It just chews you up, you know?
But that's what makes
And
you so special.
I defy it. I said, I'm going to be good anyway.
Yeah, well,
or try to be good anyway.
Well, you are.
Try to be good. I'm not saying that. Try to be good. But the notion of saying, I've made it, what can happen to me? I've never done that. Never will do that.
There have been a lot of things. I want to talk about your surgery for a moment, but I want to give you another accolade. You're also a writer. You published your memoir in 2017, and the title is, and I think we can say it, I'll Be Damned.
I'll be damned.
What inspired you to write that story and to come up with that title?
Yeah. I did it with someone, with Lindsay Harrison, was my ghostwriter. She's wonderful. And I just talk most of the time, and she writes it down. Anyway. Yeah, that was an experience. I must say, that was a nice experience. Would I do it again? Yeah, but it would be much more political.
When you write. Yeah, you are, and we're going to keep it non-political right now.
Yes.
But I know you are, because we kind of exchange texts sometimes
Yes.
about how you're feeling.
Yeah.
But you know what? You're such a champion. Obviously, people are learning more about where you came from and how you got to where you are now. But you also had a health scare that you championed. You had cancer a few years ago.
Right.
And we met after you had recovered by then.
That's right.
It was prostate
No,
cancer.
bladder
right?
cancer.
Bladder cancer.
Bladder
so totally
cancer.
different.
And it had not penetrated the walls yet. But I got to tell you a story about that,
Okay.
if I may.
Sure.
It's somewhat graphic, but not really. The way I found out I had cancer is I stopped at a urology place because on the way to work, I couldn't pee.
Oh, I remember you telling me that.
I couldn't pee. And that's a scary feeling, I tell you.
Sure.
I say, oh my God. Terrible feeling, and pain. So I stopped by this place, went in, I told them, it's okay, waited 5-10 minutes, and I went into, it was an Asian doctor, and they put a catheter into you, okay? Into your privates to relieve the. So then, as he puts the stuff in, you go.
Very painful.
Then he says, are you an actor? I said, yeah. You do soap? I said, yes. Your name Victor Newman? I said, well, who cares? Yes. I said, how do you know? He says, when I came from Vietnam, I learned English watching your show.
How about that? How about that?
I almost fell off the chair or the bed or whatever it was. I will never forget that moment.
Oh, but see, that's terrific. As bad as you
Never
were
forget that
feeling,
moment.
you had to feel good when he said that to
Yes.
you, and you had to trust him, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah, trust me.
I mean, I bet, but he was so excited about seeing who you are and
was so
actually
nice. Really
working
nice.
on you. But you're doing really well today, right?
Yes, totally, completely.
85 years old
Yep.
in April. Happy belated birthday, by the way.
Thank
Look at
you.
you.
Thank you, you know.
So you're also such, I don't want to say a poster person, but you kind of are. You've just outlived so many things. The cancer scare scared a lot of people. They were worried about you. But the way you came back from that and just, you went back to work. Wow.
As soon as I could, you know. And to be honest with you, it just, I'm sort of weird about, or maybe it comes from my childhood. You just look at it and then you say, okay, let's move on. You know, what
Keep
do I
it
do?
moving.
What's the treatment? Let's go. Boom.
Very, yeah, almost cataloged in a way.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't sit and ponder it for a long time. I don't.
You told me that before.
I just go. What can I do? Yes. Boom.
Well, Victor, I'm sure even being an athlete probably helped you.
Helps a great deal.
But I also know that you mentioned it briefly. You played with the Maccabees. These
Right.
were your teammates in soccer.
Right.
And something just happened that was wonderful. You were honored at City Hall.
Right.
Tell us about that.
Well, the Maccabee soccer team, it's a Jewish team. I'm not Jewish. I was the token German on a Jewish team. We had 2 Brazilians, Argentinian, Ethiopians, and the rest were Israelis from the Israeli First Division, and some from the national team. Very good players, obviously. So, long story how I get to the Maccabees, but it woke me up to the whole thing of the Second World War and the atrocities committed in Germany's name by the Nazis. And whilst growing up in Germany, I left when I was 18, I never heard, you only heard about a lost Second World War. You heard about that family losing a son, that family losing 2 sons, that husband coming home with 1 leg, 1 arm, those people, their sons, you know, in a Russian prison camp for 10 years, and on and on. That's what you heard about. And rebuilding. You never heard about the Holocaust until the 60s. I was gone then. So I saw a film in Beverly Hills. It was a theater on Beverly Drive and Wilshire Boulevard, and they showed Mein Kampf. I was homesick. So I thought, oh, that's German. I had not heard of Mein Kampf before, ever. Those subjects were taboo after the war. Didn't discuss them. And I go in, and it happens to be a Swedish documentary film. Showed you the whole thing from the rise of Hitler in 33 to 45. And showed the camps and showed the atrocities. I mean, vividly. And I was shocked is a mild word, really. I was devastated. I said, that's not Germany. It can't be. Can't be. Yes, it was. And then later on, I started playing for the Maccabees. And I met people in the management who were German Jews who had left in the 30s before it all came down. And they knew, they had read Mein Kampf, had seen all the Kristallnacht, Night of Crystals. They had seen Jewish shops being broken into. They had seen Jews being rounded up by brown shirts. I mean, once the Nazis took over, they took over. They took over the press. Anyone who wrote anything against them, they arrested them. Most camps in Germany were built for opponents to Hitler. Does that sound familiar a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
Happening right here, right now. So he took care of the press, took hold of it. So he had no opposition press, no free press, none of that. You either abided by the party line or you were arrested. And no one knew where they had taken you. So when they started arresting Jews after 38, 39, it wasn't that unusual, because a lot of Germans had been arrested. And no one knew where they were taking them to. That was kept a secret. The so-called final solution was concluded upon by 4 major Nazis, Heydrich, Eichmann, and 2 others, in Berlin, in a villa, in 1942. They decided upon the so-called final solution, quietly, secretly, pop. Now, people disappeared, but not only Jews disappeared. German citizens disappeared. Were put into camps, no one knew where. How about here right now? A lot of the families who are being picked up on streets here in LA don't know where they're being sent to.
I bet you said that at City Hall, didn't you?
Big warning. And when I see those ice goons, you know, that's Nazi Germany, period. That's it, right there. Visually, right there. No question asked, broke into homes, out. You come with us. Where, what? No answer. That's what's beginning to happen here right now. And that is what we must absolutely stop. I love this country. Love what it is based on. Love the philosophy, the political philosophy that was shared by the founding fathers. Love all that. That was based on reason, age of reason. That was based on the old Greeks. That was based on the best there is amongst us, but based on the rule of law. Not on the rule of one religion, not on the rule of one man, but on the rule of law, applied equally, ideally, to everyone.
And that was the premise of the speech that you delivered at City Hall. It was very, very powerful. You explained why you were playing for the team. And we do have a short clip.
Oh.
Eric.
Okay. Oh.
Yes. Can we hear that?
I was determined to prove that Germans are not genetically predisposed to anti-Semitism, because they weren't, until the Nazis came along. I played for the team with pride. I talked to members of the management who had numbers on their forearms. The more I learned about it, the more defiant I became. We encountered many an anti-Semitic remark, but these Israeli boys are tough guys. I learned from that experience to stand up to whatever prejudice encounters you or you encounter. I boxed in the gyms of LA, 70th and Hoover, 108th and Broadway. I met black people for the first time. We're all the same. We are all God's creations. There are no differences in our aspirations, none. We are truly all the same. We need to get to know each other.
Wow. Okay, you never ran for office. I
No.
don't think you're going to do that, but
No.
how would you like to be remembered, Eric?
Wow. I've not thought of that in larger terms. I've thought about it only in terms of my family and friends. I don't know.
Okay.
You know, my son writes, for Father's Day, always writes beautiful letters to me, and my granddaughters. That means everything to me.
You talk about them. We talk about them.
Yeah.
My granddaughter is now writing, and you said,
Yeah.
okay, Pat, well, is she going to continue
Yeah.
all the way through school?
Yeah.
So far, she is. She's in middle school, and she's still writing. So I know
Fantastic.
how much you love your family. You've been married how many years?
Since 1966,
Wow.
8th of October, 1966.
So I know you are such a husband, a father, a grandfather, which that's all part of who Victor is also, all of
Yeah.
those things. But that was a tremendous speech that you gave.
Thank you.
So compassionate.
Marriage is tough.
Well,
Marriage is tough. You know, you need a lot of forgiveness. And I haven't always been the best boy. And it's about forgiveness, and it's a lot.
it's a journey.
And it's a journey. It really is. You know.
Well, congratulations, Bill. That's a long time. And those are also words of wisdom that I think anybody, any couple,
Yeah.
or they could live for that. It is a journey. And yeah,
And
anything takes patience when you're dealing with somebody else,
Right.
no matter what.
And forgiveness is a large part of it.
Absolutely.
You know.
Yeah.
And children and grandchildren.
Yeah. That makes you happy.
Nothing like it.
Well, you're going to crack up now. Can you play a little game with me?
Yeah.
Okay, this is like a rapid fire question type thing having to
Okay.
do with the Young and Restless. Okay. Number one, describe Victor Newman in 3 words.
Tough, loving, and Ruthless.
Ah, okay. That's 3. Favorite one-liner?
I'll be damned.
That's what I was going to say. Absolutely. And you say that quite a bit. You have through the years.
Yeah.
Through the decades. Most outrageous storyline?
When I imprisoned my first wife's lover.
Okay, we talked about that.
How dare she? Of course, every rich man has a dungeon below his living room.
Oh, of
You know what
course
I'm
they
saying?
do.
Of course they do.
And they feed them baked rats.
Feed the prisoner baked rats.
Yes, okay. Now, is Victor a hero or anti-hero?
I don't think of it in terms of hero or anti-hero. I think of him as a complex man.
Okay, that's a good answer. Funniest off-camera co-star?
Oh, I would say Barnan, Dougie Davidson.
Oh.
You know, Christian LeBlanc.
Yes.
Joshua Morrow.
Oh, adore them both. That's Nick. So there's not just one.
Yeah, no. I mean, you know, this also lends itself to comedy. You have no idea. You know, when you do a scene, you say, oh, you know, and you wish you could do it comedically. Do you understand? So, yeah, I remember there was a scene with Peter Bergman, and
Jack. Oh,
we're angry at each other, and I said, look, there's a virus in your computer, there's a virus in my computer, there's a virus in all of us, and we have diarrhea. So I will never forget that moment. Anyway, many moments. Look,
well, he had to crack up.
he did.
Could Jack finish?
Jack, we had many a moment where, you know, you just, it's something touches you being so absurd and so funny at the same time that you have difficulty. Others. Remember Buddy Ebsen?
Yes.
He had a series, I forget what it's called. I was guest starring on it. And his sidekick was an Englishman, forget his name now, rotund Englishman. Oh, you know, like most Brits who come here, they're more British when they come here than they ever were in England, you know. And I played a Czech art dealer, and they came to investigate me. And the whole juxtaposition of characters and dialects and accents, I said, this is so absurd. So it took us an hour and a half, because once I had it under control, then Buddy Ebsen.
Then he lost
Buddy
it.
Ebsen walked like he was sleepwalking all the time, like this. And he finally started, and then the cameraman started laughing, and then the producer. So finally, Quinn Martin came down and said, "Gentlemen, this is costing us a lot of money." So, okay, so we finally, an hour and a half. Oh my God.
That had to be priceless, but priceless.
So we have those moments at WWII as well.
Well, that's good. And you're going to have many more moments, right? Because you don't see any.
Joshua Morrow, when he sees me go like this, he says, stop it, because that means I'm about to start laughing. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, there we go.
Well, we're so happy, and we're happy that you're going to continue on Y&R. Quite frankly, we don't know what they would do without Victor, so.
Pat, you really are, first of all, a very nice person.
Oh.
And secondly, you know, when one sees you on the news, one says, okay, things haven't changed. She's still there.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I still care,
Serious.
Eric.
Yeah.
I do care.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you for coming on to talk to me today.
Loved it.